Welcome to our community. Susie Thomas here with you this morning. We are visiting with Pastor Patty Hostetler from Hannah's House 119. Good morning.
Good morning. So glad to be here.
Patty, I've heard about Hannah's House 119. First of all, let's talk about the name. Where did that come from?
Yeah. Well, it comes actually from 1 Samuel chapter 1, verse 19, about a young girl named Hannah who really was in a situation that she could do nothing about. She was barren. She couldn't have children. And so she did the only thing she could do, and that was to cry out to her God. And he heard her. And in 1 Samuel 1:19, it says that the Lord remembered her. So very significant to what we do, because we work with a lot of girls who have feel like they have been forgotten. And so we're able to help them to see that they are not forgotten, that the Lord does remember them and wants to be a part, just like in Hannah's story, helping them to rise above their circumstance as well.
How long has Hannah's House 119 been in existence?
We incorporated in 2013.
And why? What was it that led you to do this?
Well, I have been working with teenagers for over 20 years. I am a youth pastor, and many years ago, God just gave me a passion for broken women. And those years of being in youth ministry, He equipped me to do now what I'm doing. And in 2013, He just directed me now into this new path. So,
was it one of those, if you build it, they will come kind
absolutely.
of things? How did you go find people who needed you?
Yeah, absolutely. The first almost year was really doing needs analysis and finding out really what the need was in our area. And Ephesians 3:20, he just really, I just said, Lord, here I am, I'm your servant. And He has been able to do things that I could really have not done on my own, things that I couldn't even imagine how were going to happen. My heart and passion was there, but making it happen, has been just so amazing watching Him do.
Is Hannah's House a real house, a physical house?
It is. We do have a house. It is not residential. It's where we do our mentor training, and we have a lot of groups, and our mentors can bring their mentees there and do life skills like cooking and crafting or talking about relationship building or whatever they want to work on that week.
For the last 3 or 4 years, then, how many young ladies have you seen go through?
A lot. We have grown really fast. We are working with well over 150 young women at this point, some men,
really?
But for the most part, our focus is females. We have about 14 groups out there working. We're in schools doing prevention, helping these girls before they become a statistic as well. We work with Starr County Family Court. They send us a lot of referrals. So we're working with, the low-risk girl who might have a truancy charge all the way to girls who've been sex trafficked.
Okay, let's get back to all of this. All right, my very next question was, who are these girls? So tell us, who are you serving?
Yeah.
What kinds of issues are you dealing with?
Yeah, well, we work with young moms. Our youngest mom became a mom at 13.
Wow.
And we work with them till they're about 23 years old. We are just getting ready to open our first young mom's home. It'll be for transitional age, so we're going to be able to house 4 of our young moms and their babies, helping them to really just get on their feet. None of them have their high school diplomas, so we're working on that first. And then helping them to have a steady job and helping them with the child care and transportation and everything, that they need to be able to be successful and to overcome. Yeah.
Let's start right. I mean,
Okay.
I know you've only covered one segment of the people that you're working with, but that's a lot of services just for that one segment. So how do you do that as far as the parenting classes, as far as preparing someone for employment, and what kinds of ways do you meet those needs?
Well, we have a parenting class for our young moms every week on Mondays, and we provide childcare, we feed them, we build relationship. Right now, they feel their biggest struggle is how people look at them. They became a teen mom, and now all of a sudden they're, a person that can't be trusted or a rebellious teen. And so that support for them is huge. Some of them have found their best friends there. And then we, of course, give them proper child care training, from safe sleeping, because Starr County is number 1 in Ohio for SIDS.
Isn't that horrible?
So we make sure all of our moms have a safe sleeping space for their little one, a crib. We help them.
Cribs?
We do. We
Wow.
God, again, has provided in so many awesome ways with donations for our girls. But then we also, we help them with prenatal care, because often it's those things that don't happen because they don't have transportation. So we help them with all their transportation during prenatal care. If we can, we help them with housing, helping them to get their own place. It's not always the safest place, but it's their place. And then they're not vulnerable for those basic needs, which is why some of them are where they are, at this point, because they may have been couch surfing or, just living with people that did make them vulnerable then.
What happens to someone then once you've helped them, they're kind of on their feet, they're in a place of their own, they have some means of employment, they've got some income, and they're caring for their child. Then what? Do they continue to hang out with the same crowd, same family issues? Do they stay in touch with you? What's the ongoing care?
For us, and I think what makes us unique is we are ongoing. This is something that we just don't say, okay, now our time is
Bye-bye.
over. Right. Mm-hmm. We continue to offer them support and services, helping them. We do WIC and Welfare Wednesdays, making sure that if there's anything they need there, we can get them there, just to make sure that they're doing the things that they need to be doing.
What was that first word? I heard
WIC and welfare.
What's WIC?
WIC is a service that is provided to our young moms so they can get the formula and different things that they need for their babies.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you get them to all the things so that they get the actual supplies they need for their children.
Right, yeah.
Wow. Okay. Do you have some success stories in this particular area?
We do.
We'd love to hear that some of these young ladies come back and volunteer for you now.
They all say they want to. So we're going to, one success story that I love to share is a young girl that we met through one of our schools that we were doing work in. She found herself pregnant and alone and really did not think she could have her baby. She had set up an appointment to terminate her child. And I was able to meet with her that Monday. I had just started working with her for the past couple months, and we were able to meet together on Monday before her appointment to terminate her baby on Tuesday. And she really bought into what we were doing because when she was in middle school, some mentors came. And so she understood what mentoring was. It was somebody to walk through life with you. It was somebody who was going to be consistent and faithful in your life. And so she agreed to just take some time, and she canceled her appointment. And we were able to connect her to a mentor who helped her with her prenatal care the whole pregnancy. And then she decided to keep her baby. She thought about adoption, but she decided she really did want to keep her baby. So she had her baby this past August, and is just really doing well. And so, we're just so excited that life, was saved. And her life is, it's not completely there yet, but it's heading in the right direction.
Wow.
So
that takes a great deal of trust. And I know people would love to know, what were the magic words that you said to her at that time on Monday that prevented her from going in on Tuesday. Yeah. But how do you go about building that kind of trust with someone that she was able to put everything on hold, take a breath, take a step back, and just do some reevaluating?
Yeah. Well, again, because she understood what mentoring was, that helped. That had
build on that.
She had built on that. But also, I just assured her that no matter what her decision was, she was not going to be alone in this. She was not going to be alone. We were going to be there with her to walk this out with her. So, she believed it and trusted us. And she actually has gotten very involved in church herself. She had her baby dedicated to the Lord. Wow. So that was another success. Just that, she gave us a shot, and now she's giving God a shot as well.
Wow. So, more references to Hannah.
Yeah.
Oh,
exactly.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so that is young women dealing with an unplanned or unwanted pregnancy. You deal with so much more. Tell us.
Yeah. Well, we work with Family Court. We receive a lot of referrals from them. Girls who are coming from broken homes or, parents who might be drug addicts or in prison. So again, it's all the way from low risk to the high risk. But we begin a relationship with them, just again, building that relationship of trust, consistency, giving them a good role model, showing them that there's something different out there.
There seems to be a new trend that is tragic and so sad when we read about the recent family from Centerville where the 4 children found their parents dead from overdose in the morning. You think, children that young, oh my gosh, what happens to them now? Yeah. And what kind of a horrible role model did they have?
Right.
We don't know what they saw or what they didn't see.
Right.
Are you seeing more children having to deal with parents who are addicts?
Absolutely. Absolutely. As a matter of fact, another thing that we do work with are girls who've been sex trafficked. And I think of one girl that we've worked with who was really trafficked by her mom for drug money.
So the two are tied together.
Right, yeah. Her mom trafficked her to be able to get drugs. And so now this young girl is a heroin addict, and she is now on the street herself because she's turned 18 and is out there.
Is this someone that's still coming to Hannah's house?
She touches base with us.
Wow.
We have not had the success we want with her, other than she knows we're there for her, you know, and she does call at times.
Wow.
Yeah.
What does that do to you? How do you do this?
It is tough. It is really tough. But you know what? I keep Jesus Christ as my constant. There are so many highs because we do see successes, and there are so many lows. But I just have to stay focused on Jesus Christ, who is my constant, who keeps me, you know, where I need to be. And I'm okay. You know, I see a lot of things, but I'm okay.
One thing that I would hope is that, you know, kids tend to rebel. So wouldn't it be great if these children being raised by parents who have a drug issue would rebel against that and say, you know what, I want to do a 180 and not end up like that.
Yeah.
That would be good.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's part of what we do. We show them there's something different out there.
Yes.
Sometimes they think everyone around me is bad and everything around me is bad. And so we show them that there's positive things in their communities. There's positive things to be a part of, you know, so that it can be different for them.
You said the word trafficked. We've had people on this program before who've talked about the problem of trafficking in our area, which is eye-opening and stunning and shocking all at once. How bad is this problem?
If there were one young girl involved in our area, it would be enough to make a difference for her, you know.
That's right.
And yet it is more than that, you know. It's right here in our backyard in so many different ways. Hollywood gives a picture of what trafficking looks like in Hollywood, but it's not. It can be that, like taken. It can be where they're snatched away, but a girl can be trafficked right in her own bed, and it still be trafficking. And like our girl, who her mom was trafficking her. We've had older sisters traffic their younger sisters because they're being controlled by a pimp. And you know, there's just, I could tell you story after story of what's happening right here. But I think what I could say to that is, you know, we have trainings all the time, you know, be aware of what's happening, know the signs, because the more people who can have ears and eyes out there, and making calls. Ohio has went from 5 to 4 in our nation in trafficking. We were 5th, but now based on the number of calls made to the hotline, we're number 4 in our nation. And
Ohio?
Our
state of
Ohio, yes.
And that's 4 at the top, not at the bottom.
Right. Yeah, it's not a number 1 we want to be at.
No.
And really the reason is because more calls have been made to the hotline. So now more and more people are being aware of what's happening around them, and they're making that call. And so more and more girls are being rescued, and more things are happening, you know, as far as our traffickers, you know, being stopped.
Well, it's better to be recognizing that we've got a terrible problem and have that high of a ranking if it also means that we're being more diligent in reporting it.
Yes.
So what signs should we look for?
For a young person, you know, if all of a sudden you're a school teacher and you notice that a young girl is coming in with things, nice clothes, her hair, her nails, iPods, iPads, things that you know her family probably can't afford for her, that's a huge red flag. If you're working in the medical field, if you see a man who is doing all the talking for a young girl and not wanting to let her, you know, tell what's wrong, those are red flags. Are
there places that we should be especially on the lookout?
Yeah, when you're traveling, hotels, truck stops is huge. again, our neighborhoods, our kids, these traffickers are really good at what they do, and they're targeting our foster kids who are aging out of the system. They're at high risk because they often don't have anywhere to go. Our homeless kids, they're at bus stops, they're looking for them.
You mentioned foster children and young women aging out of foster care. What kinds of services do you provide there? Oh, my goodness, I just looked at the clock. You know what, Patty? I knew this would be so fascinating. We would run out of time quickly. We need to stop here and take a break. We'll be back in just a few minutes. You're listening to Our Community.